In this video, we're going to talk about choosing the right spotlight. Especially for new people to Scribophile, they don't know what spotlight is right for them. Well, the best way to find out is to practice, but ask yourself certain questions first. First, what do you want? Do you want to publish? Do you want someone to look at your book? Is it rough draft? Is it early? What genre do you have? Are you sci-fi, fantasy, mystery? What are you? And there are so many options out there, which one to choose? Well, we're going to start with explaining what each one is. There's the main spotlight, there's the personal spotlight, and there's the beta spotlight. Each one is different for different reasons, and we're going to go over each one. Let's start with the main spotlight. The main spotlight costs 5 karma. You will wait in line, and until you have reached the front of the line, people critiquing your piece will only get half a karma. Once you get to the front of the line, you will receive 3 critiques where each person will receive 1 karma. After you receive the 3 critiques, you will get a little moon symbol. That means you have 30 days left. Anyone within that 30 days will get half a point of karma for critiquing your work. But everyone can see it, and everyone can critique it. This is best if you want to get your work critiqued quickly and by a variety of people. Well, if you're new to Scribophile, this is the best spotlight because this is how you can make friends and get to know people. Let's go over how it shall be done. When you're on your main page, you go to your writing. Here's a list of my writing. If you haven't added anything yet, it'll be blank. Push Post a Work. Remember to read the instructions at the beginning. I'm going to start a new book. Choose the type of book. I'm going to choose a short story. Place the title and a short summary of your book. You can type it directly into the box, but I like to type in Word and then transfer it over by copying and pasting. Right now, my working title is A Lot of Love to Give, a satire. It's not a romance, it's a comedy. Now, if it were longer than 3,000 words, I would break it up into 2 parts, and I would choose a part. But this story is only a little over 1,000. Now, here's how they will find it. I choose my category, which is fiction, and my subcategory, which is humor. This is how people will find your book, by choosing the right category. I choose the size of my book. It's a short story. And there's no adult material. Now, I have many groups, and for the main spotlight, this isn't important, but I'm just wanting to show you a little bit about how you can choose or unchoose a group. This is more important in the personal and beta spotlight, and we'll get to that later. Now you have different types of visibility. You have public visibility and restricted visibility. Private visibility. We'll talk about more of those when we talk about the personal spotlight. But you want public visibility. You want everyone to see this, and you're posting to the main spotlight. Notice there are 2 other spotlights available, personal spotlight and beta spotlight, but you want the main spotlight. You're going to copy and paste your work into the text box. Once there, you can manipulate it just like any other word processing program. You can highlight, you can bold, italicize. These are available with the premium Scribophile membership. You can quote, unquote, center. It's really quite nice. I love having premium. Once you're all set, there are other options as well. You can give extra information for critiquing. I always ask for help with SPAG. You can ask for a sliding scale. I never do that, but some people like it. You can also give extra karma as a gift for people to read your work. It adds incentive. When you push post, you will get this notice. This notice tells you where you are in queue. It gives you links to your work, and you can find this information on your writing page. Going back to your writing, your new story should be in your queue. You can tell whether or not a spotlight is in the work by a big yellow dot. If you go to Critique Works, you can find it in the list of critique works by genre. Notice these are all in the main spotlight. Let's talk about the personal spotlight. The personal spotlight costs 5 karma points. You can get 6 crits for the personal spotlight, but it is not on the main spotlight page. You find it in the groups, and group members can receive 1 karma point. Non-group members receive half a karma point. Go to your writings, and let's do one in the personal spotlight. This will look very familiar because doing the personal spotlight is the exact same procedure as doing the main spotlight. Read over the rules. Now, if you've already started a novel, you can add a chapter to a novel automatically. Put in your chapter. Now again, this is for the personal spotlight. Notice I'm on chapter 15 of my novel Wormhole. I add in the chapter description. I make it as short as possible because I want people to read my story, not just read about the story. And then the chapter summary. This will be what they click on if they're coming into the center of the book and they missed a chapter. I also keep this very concise. Now, I've already chosen the genre for my book, but I can change up the genre in the middle of this story if I want to. It gives me a little bit more freedom. But I'm going to keep the parameters that I already have. This work does have adult material, so I've clicked the box. It has some cussing and some sexual content. Now, here's where my groups are important, because in the personal spotlight, the best way people can find your work is in the groups. So I'm going to click the groups that apply. I only have a few groups because this story is kind of narrow. The broader the story, the more groups I can include. For example, you don't want to put an erotic story in a children's group, and vice versa. Now, I could put it public visibility, where everyone on the site can see it. That means there's no restrictions. If they see it and they click on it, they can look at it. There's also restricted visibility. Restricted visibility, they see a warning. you can put the names of the people that you want to see it. You type in their icon name, you choose them from the list, and then only those people that I've put on this list can view my writing. I can remove and replace the list anytime I want. That's restricted visibility. The private visibility I would not suggest. That only you can see thing. No one can critique it. And if you want someone to critique it, you have to spend 5 more karma to repost it. So I wouldn't suggest doing that unless you want to use the word processing program on your own. You can put main or personal spotlight. I'm going to put the personal spotlight for this. Again, you copy your chapter, you paste the chapter, you manipulate the chapter however you want it to be seen. And when you're ready, you can add additional comments for your critiquers to look at. I'm going to add a few more, for this one, I'm going to add a few more comments. Hopefully they'll read it. I can add sliding bars so that they can give overall feedback, but I don't like the sliding bars. I don't think they're very helpful, but some people really like them. I can add more karma to entice people to come and choose my story. Let's take those off. And when I'm ready, I can post. It's going to cost me 5 karma for the personal spotlight. Let's go. Now, the beta spotlight costs 0 karma, and there is no crit limit, and it's only visible in a link, and no one receives karma for reading it. This is when you're trading story for story with people. The beta spotlight was made for people to do beta reads. It's when the amount of karma and critiquing is unimportant, and what's important is reading the whole story. We go to your posted writing, post a work, fill in exactly the same as the personal spotlight and the main spotlight. Except I do one thing different. I make a chapter, and then behind the chapter, I write beta. This reminds me and my readers that they will not get any karma. This is a karma-free post. I can have a post in the personal spotlight and the same chapter in the beta spotlight. The computer and the site sees them as 2 different chapters. By putting beta behind it and by making one personal spotlight and the other beta spotlight. Do not link your personal and beta spotlights together. Beta spotlights are linked to beta spotlights. Personal spotlights are linked to personal spotlights. Be very careful not to make the mistake of mixing your stories. That's why I put beta in front of it. Again, you can put public or restricted visibility. You can choose any spotlight. We're going to choose beta. You're going to post your story. And again, you can choose extra information. And look, no karma points. It's free. But again, this doesn't give people incentive to read because they earn no points for reading it. and I post my work. And I am ready to go. Back in the My Posting page, you can choose to edit your work. You can look at your stats. And I'm going to delete this work because I actually already have this chapter already posted. I don't need it. Now I'm going to go to My Groups. My group is the Novel Exchange. Now let's go all the way to the bottom of the Novel Exchange front page. Latest activity, and look, the latest activity, there is the post I just made. Notice there's no link, but 2 down is when I posted it in practice. I removed it, remember, from this one, but 2 down is the one that I didn't remove. Right there. I can click on it and look at it. All these were posted in the personal spotlight or in the beta spotlight. And here's my chapter. And that's how you post. Thank you so much. There are extra places you can go as newbies to get help. Thank you for choosing the right spotlight. Remember to like and subscribe to History and Heritage, and happy posting!